have today. There are some students that are kinesthetic learners, which means they need to be active and moving and have things in their hands. And iPads are mobile. You don't have to sit down at a desk like a desktop computer. You can move around, and I think that's something with this iPad initiative that is awesome and fantastic. That you can move, the students can move around wherever they want. And yes, you don't want them moving around all the time, but for those 1 or 2 students, this is awesome. Another thing is that some students like to write or use their fingers or type different things. iPads, you can type, you can write, you can do all sorts of things. So it fits to every mold of a student. So it's multi-dimensional in that sort of aspect. iPads also allow teachers to teach multi-content areas at one time. So one game, let's say one game and an iPad, one application you put on the iPad, it can allow both reading skills to be taught and math skills to be taught, social studies and reading skills to be taught at the same exact time. So teachers are fitting different concept areas and content areas that they need to get in that week in one sitting for the student. And I think that is awesome and fantastic because you only have a set number of time with your students, and that time is critical in the learning process. And students love to be on iPads, students love to be with technology, and the iPads just makes it so much fun for the students. I've seen this initiative in USD 305 here in Salina, Kansas, and really the kids love these iPads. They're like, ooh, yes, it's iPad time. Let's go on the iPads. So it's great and fascinating, and I love it. Important things to stress to not only teachers, so districts, once they get these iPad initiatives rolling, it's important to sit down with teachers and staff members and say, look, we're giving you this wonderful use of technology. We need you to use it in the right way for students and for education. We need you to use it to the best of your ability. These devices, yes, they could be used for personal use, but they are USD 305 or whatever district. The district owns them, and you need to use them for our district use only and not personal use. That's been an issue in some districts from what things I've read online. Teachers need to ensure that they are choosing applications that best fit their children. If a 6th grade teacher is still using an application from the kindergarten level, they're probably not getting anything out of that application. Now, don't get me wrong, they could be, but what it's seen is that the 6th grade, 5th grade level, they need to start changing applications, deleting applications, and setting up new applications on the iPads, and that's important to this process and to the application process. It's important to stress safety with iPads to the students. The iPads, most of the applications, but not all of the applications, use internet access. Like we've said and like we've read in multiple modules that we've been working on this 4 weeks, it's important to stress to students that the internet is dangerous. The internet is something that we as educators need to introduce to our students and say, look, there are some things on the internet that are not meant for you to see. And some people put things out there that are not appropriate for your age. And in order to show that to them, you might need to show them the videos that we saw or different things like that. But you need to reach that to your students and show them that it's important to stress the safety of the internet. There's a great tool on an iPad that you can set filters and different things, and there's different restrictions and resources that you can place on the iPad, so on the internet, on Safari, which is what the iPad uses as an internet, to ensure that the students are being safe when they're using their iPad. You can set restrictions on so they can only see certain websites or certain things. And I think that is another great thing about the iPad, is that you can filter what they see. What would the cost be of this iPad adventure? The iPads are not the cheapest tablets on the market, but I believe that they are, and as many sources have said, they are the best for the educators because all of the applications that are available. I own a Microsoft Surface, which is another sort of a tablet, and I don't believe, and many articles in my paper suggest that the Surface is not the best for kindergarten through 5th grade. And with an iPad initiative, you want to make sure that the technology that you're implementing in your district goes through K through 12. So, and also with Surface and Microsoft products and other applications or other tablets, they don't have as many applications out there as the iPad does. It's just a fact. The iPad has so many more applications than those other products do. The problem with the cost of an iPad, iPads range from $550 to $600. The biggest cost is that the bigger districts that have, 5 or, tons of kids, the bigger districts like Salina and Wichita, are just Wichita, Kansas, Salina, Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, those type of big cities. The cost to start this, just to get it started, to implement one iPad for every single student in their district would be $3 million or even more than that. So in order to do this for bigger districts, you may have to say, well, in 1 year, we are going to buy this many students, or we're going to buy this many iPads. In every classroom, there will be 2 iPads. Then as you go along throughout the school years, you say, oh, great, now we get to buy 3 iPads. Now we get to buy 4 iPads. And then as soon as you get the iPad built up, then you say, oh, great, now we have enough iPads for all of our students, and we can initiate the iPad initiative. And that's one way to set the costs and set the boundaries, because iPads are not cheap. I wish they were. I wish that it was cheap and inexpensive and it could go into every single school, but it's not. And so that's just a negative of the iPad initiative. Why do we need to spend money on technology? Students rely on technology every day with cell phones and other things like that, and it's important to get it into school districts. And iPads are just one of the technologies that really work well for education, like I've said before. The one-to-one iPad initiative is something that is really new and exciting, and I think that, and I've heard many benefits of it, and it's a great initiative to put into schools. So thank you for listening.